Now by Congressman Kevin Kiley, who represents District 3, and Prop 50 could have major impacts on his district. And Kevin Kiley has also introduced legislation in Congress to stop mid-decade redistricting nationwide. Congressman Kiley, thank you so much for joining us. You've been a busy man. We've been seeing a lot of you lately, and this is a big night. There's a lot at stake for you. Let's start with your objections to this redistricting battle. You have called it degrades democracy. Can you explain?
Yeah, and I'm against gerrymandering wherever it occurs. I'm against it in California. I'm against it in Texas. I'm against it in every state that's now part of this escalating redistricting war, because what gerrymandering does is it basically shifts power away from voters and puts more power in the hands of politicians. And it's also really destabilizing having this happen everywhere in so many states across the country in the middle of the decade when it isn't supposed to be happening. So if Prop 50 goes through, my district will be broken into 6 different pieces. I really don't like that, because I happen to think I represent the most beautiful district in the state. It's where I was born and raised and went to local public schools. But we'll see how things come out tonight.
Yeah, Congressman Kiley, talk to us about why party leadership hasn't brought this to the floor. Do you feel supported by your party, or do you feel like they're just leaving you out in the cold?
Well, I'm really disappointed that they haven't brought it to the floor for a vote. I've strongly encouraged them to do so, and it's honestly not too late. And I think that we're seeing actually more interest from members on both sides, Democrat and Republican, who tell me all the time that they think this is the right thing, that having this redistricting war break out all across the country is exactly the wrong thing for our country right now. So whether or not it has an impact on Prop 50 and whether or not Prop 50 passes, I'm going to continue to advocate for this bill to be heard, to be voted on. And I think if it is voted on, then it'll actually pass. And then we could say, all right, let's all move on with our lives. Stop redrawing district lines all the time. Let's focus on the issues that actually matter towards improving people's lives in this country.
Talk to us about what this will mean for your future, sir, if this does pass tonight.
Well, I'm confident that I will be able to win re-election no matter what the map looks like. And the reason for that is that I have a track record of getting support from Democrats, Republicans, people of all party affiliations, because I don't view it as my role to support one party or the other. I ran for Congress pledging to be an independent voice for our district and to fight for all Californians. So that's why in the last election, I actually got the second most crossover votes of any competitive race in the country, meaning people who actually voted for Kamala Harris for president, but voted for me for member of Congress. So I think that however things come out, I'll have a strong case to make for re-election, because I've focused on issues that really matter to our communities, like getting a big federal grant to fix the traffic situation around 65 and 80, passing landmark legislation to protect beautiful Lake Tahoe, and a whole host of other issues just to protect the quality of life that we have in our area.
You sound confident that you will be able to keep your seat, but let's talk about your constituents and your potential opponents here. Some of them have said that you have not stood up enough to President Trump when it comes to issues that they care about, like the VA and Medicaid and SNAP. What is your response to them?
Well, I actually have co-sponsored legislation to keep SNAP benefits going even during the shutdown. If you want to see whether I've been completely consistent with our party leadership, you could just go ahead and talk to them right now. I've been extremely critical of the way that Speaker Johnson has handled the government shutdown, with the House being adjourned for the last 6 weeks, recessed, having canceled its session. I've actually been here trying to work in a bipartisan way. I did everything possible to get the government back open. And in fact, just today, me and Sam Liccardo, who's a Democratic representative in the San Jose area, we released a bipartisan framework for extending the healthcare subsidies for a limited amount of time that are about to expire. If these subsidies do go away without at least a temporary solution, people are going to see a huge increase in healthcare costs. So I ran for Congress for pledging to try to overcome the partisan divisions that are deepening in this country. And I think that's more important than ever. The country is very divided, and I think this whole redistricting mess and the government shutdown are just the latest indications of that.
You kind of read my mind, Congressman, because I was going to say, I know you've been advocating for the Congress to come back into session as this is going on. Talk about how you feel perhaps the shutdown is impacting and the role that it's playing as people are now out voting for this redistricting issue.
Well, whether or not it's affecting the vote on redistricting, it's an absolutely terrible thing for the country. You have people who are really, really suffering this interruption in SNAP benefits, air traffic controllers having to go and do these really stressful jobs without getting a paycheck. They would miss a second paycheck next week. Now, all of the flight delays that we're seeing as a consequence of that, all of the people who have been furloughed, and just the cascading consequences for millions of people because of Congress's failure to do its most basic job of keeping the government open. Now, to be clear, I voted to keep the government open 6 weeks ago, and I voted to avoid a shutdown. And I did the same thing whether Joe Biden was president or Donald Trump was president. But at the same time, I fundamentally disagree with the decision of the Speaker of the House to say we're just going to leave town, we're going to cancel all of our business, and we're not even going to talk to anyone. Like sometimes in politics, you actually have to have conversations with people who have a different position than you in order to find the common ground that's best for the country. And so that's what I've been doing with colleagues like Sam Liccardo on the other side of the aisle. And because of these kinds of conversations, I think actually the good news is that there's a little bit of a thaw right now. I think that there's a little bit of hope that we could get out of this thing in the not too distant future.
Yeah, Congressman Kiley, thank you so much for sharing your time and insight with us. I believe you're going to be having a news conference after the results and the polling start to happen. Is that still going to happen?
Yes, that's happening tomorrow. So maybe I'll see you guys there.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Congressman Kiley.